Quazi here. One of the greatest ancient books that fathered the modern New Age movement was a book by the name of the Kybalion, thought to have compiled with original teachings of Hermes Trismegistus. Now, what many modern day personal development teachers will never tell you is that their teachings most likely originated from the Kybalion. I'm here to share with you the truth on one of the greatest principles that Hermes speaks of. As within, so without. I've been on a personal development journey for the last 7 years, and these words could not ring truer today. If you would like to master your destiny, you must first master yourself. As within, so without. As we progress in this modern society, mankind is continually being plunged into a deeper and deeper state of unconsciousness. All manual labor gets replaced by machines. Click a button and someone delivers your food and groceries to your house. Now with AI, you don't even have to think for yourself anymore. If you do not wake up and become conscious now, our future generations will suffer from our errors. It's time to become conscious, because when we become conscious, we're able to influence our destiny. The one main thing we must consciously do is to choose what's within, so we can see it be reflected without. See, most people use the outside to influence how they should be within. What you must do is first choose how you want to be within to influence the outside. The only way for you to do that is to attain a conscious identity shift, not an unconscious one. In the summer of 2019, I realized what it truly meant to attain a conscious identity shift. See, I was supposed to go into a full-time corporate career, but the idea of taking orders from someone else to make them rich for a cause I had no interest in, it made me sick to my stomach. Can you imagine spending 40 years of your life doing something you absolutely hate, only to retire on a pension that probably isn't even a guarantee? That's what 99% of the working population is in for. And I decided that wasn't it for me. I quit to try and start my own business. Long story short, I made zero money for a while. My parents were disappointed. I was disappointed. At one point, I genuinely believed that God was out to get me. Then I realized that all of this was happening for a reason. My old self was dying so that my new self could be born from the ashes. I had to stick with it. This was a period of identity shift, the dark night of the soul. Once I learned how to fully shift my sense of self, I went from the 9-to-5 Quazi to the millionaire entrepreneur Quazi. By the end of January of 2020, I did my first 100K month. In that year, I made $1.4 million, all at the age of 23. I know you hear a lot of fluff online on woo-woo stuff that you have to do to manifest a lottery win. This video will have none of that. I want you to get real results like I was able to, and over 1,000 clients of ours that actually have. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to attain an identity shift, a conscious one, and one powerful exercise that will help you do this for yourself. Let's get started. So now you understand the importance of attaining an identity shift, but I would like to go a little bit deeper to explain to you why the identity is such a crucial part. The first time I realized this was when I was reading a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. If you've read that book, you know the importance of identity. Maxwell Maltz, who's a cosmetic surgeon at the time, he describes how he was having patients come to him and they were struggling with a lack of confidence, they couldn't make sales, and they felt very, very bad about themselves. They had a very low self-image. What he simply did was he gave, each and every single one of these customers a cosmetic surgery, changed their appearance. And these people, when they came in, they had a certain belief. In their mind, they could see two versions of themselves: their current self with their limitations and how they look, and who they would like to be, their ideal self, their 2.0 self, and how they look. And with that look, they attach certain attributes and characteristics and certain doings and havings. They believe that, hey, if I got this facelift, if I got this change about me, then I would become more confident, I would feel more confident, I would crush it in sales. So they crafted this separation in their mind's eye. And this is what happened. This is what led Maxwell Maltz to write that book. As soon as he gave them the facelift and the cosmetic surgery, all of a sudden, their personality literally changed. They became a completely different person. They started to become more confident. They started to make more money. They started to become happier. All of these changes happened out of a superficial, surface level appearance change. This goes to show how effective something like that can be when you have that clear picture of who you would be once you do achieve that appearance change. However, the appearance change itself did not make the identity shift for these people, which subsequently made them experience a completely different reality. What was that thing that allowed them to make that shift? And this is what it is. Fundamentally, they had an internal shift. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have an appearance shift that'll make you have an identity shift, or you start doing different things that make you feel a certain way. The fundamental thing is they had an identity shift, which subsequently changed their whole reality. So we're going to talk about how you can have this identity shift, and by the end of it, I'm going to share with you an exercise that'll allow you to do that. Before I get to that, I want to share with you a personal story of mine. Something very, very similar happened to me when I was in school. So when I was in middle school, I used to get bullied a lot because I had bucked teeth, and everyone would call me Bucktooth Quazi. And for days, I would dream becoming a different person after I had gotten braces. I was too young to get braces at that time, so my parents didn't opt for it, but I knew that, I was praying and hoping and waiting for the day I would get braces. I saw myself becoming a completely different person after I had straighter teeth. Long story short, I get braces, and as soon as they take my braces off, I became a completely different person. I started to become more confident. I stopped behaviors that were annoying that got me bullied in the first place. And I really just started believing in myself. And I even started getting better grades in school. All because I became a different person. I visualized myself for years being this different person after I got my braces removed. After that, I really think I started to live my best life. So that goes to show the power of cosmetic surgery. I'm not trying to sell you on cosmetic surgery, but I'm trying to sell you on the power of you having a conscious identity shift, okay? You becoming a completely different person. And there's always some triggering event like that cosmetic surgery or something else in your life that happens that makes you shift into that different personality. So let's see how we can do this in a more conscious way that doesn't require gimmicky things like getting cosmetic surgery. So here I have this little diagram in which I'm going to demonstrate to you how reality is really created or influenced, and how a person experiences their subjective reality and their objective reality as a result. So if this circle is reality, which is being influenced, what is influencing reality? At the most surface level that everyone can see, it's action, right? Action and behavior. When we take action, we can make a direct impact to our reality. If we don't like something, we try to mess things up to change it, right? If you don't like not making enough sales in your business, you start to take more action, make more dials, talk to more leads, and you can directly make an impact there. Maybe. But something influences the action that we take. In this particular instance, if I'm getting on sales calls and I'm very needy internally, then I won't get the sale. If I'm, trying to find a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a partner, and every single date I go on, I'm very needy. Internally, I have this scarcity mindset. That will start to influence my actions. So it's not really just about what you do, it's also about how you do it, right? How we do something influences the what that we do. So what is it that influences the actions that we take? It's the thoughts and the feelings. It's the thoughts that we think and the feelings that we feel. This combination of thought and feeling influences the action that we take. When we think positive thoughts and we feel very, very positive, we're more inspired and energized to take action. Therefore, it's imperative for us to get our thoughts and feelings in one line. That's level 2. But something influences the predominant thoughts that we think and the feelings that we feel. Have you ever noticed why sometimes you have certain thoughts and you can't explain it? You're like, why did I just have that thought? Why do I feel so negatively? It's because you've been conditioned to think and feel this way. You've been thinking and feeling this way for a very long time, and you've permitted yourself to think and feel this way, and you've lived like this for a very long time. It's become a habit. It's a comforting thing. It has become a belief, something that you've picked up. Thoughts and feelings stem from the beliefs that we hold. Beliefs are the programs that we run with, that we sort of know. They're somewhat in our conscious awareness. But what influences these beliefs? It's the convictions that we hold to be true. Convictions are beliefs that have been so deeply ingrained, we will never think to question them. So please take a moment to think about these 3 different levels. At the most surface level, someone presents you with a thought, and you can choose whether or not to accept that as true. For example, you look all around you like, oh, the economy is collapsing, now is a terrible time to start a business. That's an opinion. That's a thought. Now, if you start to emotionalize, if you start to feel terribly about this thought, you get addicted to feeling that way. We're feeling creatures. We want to feel something at all times. If this is worry, if this is love, if this is joy, we just want to feel something because feeling something makes us feel alive. Our biological programming is that of survival. We want to survive at all costs. So if we feel like, hey, this belief is serving me some way, this worry is serving me some way, then we keep that worry going again and again. That's why there's some irrational fears that we keep holding to be true, even though consciously we know there is no reason why we should fear it. Going back to my point, the thoughts are influenced by the beliefs and the programs that we've conditioned for years and years. However, the beliefs are conditioned by the conviction that we've unconsciously been programmed with. It's become so deeply suppressed, the things that we've learned in school, looking at other people, in our environment, our parents. Parents are a huge source of it. And these convictions influence our beliefs that we can consciously see. The unconscious influences the conscious, and the conscious influences the more conscious layers of thoughts that we see are coming up in our minds and the feelings that are coming up day to day, which then influences the actions that we take. So this is level 4. Now, there's 2 types of thought, belief, conviction. There are the thought, belief, convictions that we have about our world, and these are called worldviews or our paradigm. And this is how we view the world. Is the world a good place? Is the world a bad place? Is now a good time to start a business? Is now a bad time to start a business? However, and remember the Hermetic principle we talked about, as within, so without. Just like an external worldview, there is a self-view, which is called the identity. There are convictions we hold to be true about the world and convictions that we hold to be true about ourselves. The highest level of all that influences everything that we're seeing in our reality are the convictions that we hold to be true about ourselves. This is the identity. When we have certain convictions about ourselves, it influences the convictions that we have about our world. Don't believe me? Look at it this way. Even if now is a bad time to start a business, if I believe I'm an exceptional person, if I believe that I am special and unique, therefore I am capable of, even during these bad times, starting up a business and becoming successful with it. Have you ever noticed people who are like dogged determination? Like where the heck do they get these beliefs about themselves? Where the heck do they get these balls? They're like, yeah, now is a terrible time to start a business, but I'm different. I can do anything that I want. That level of self-confidence, that level of internal self-image, identity will override any worldview that you have. If you have a worldview of, hey, I can't do it, even though now is a good time to start a business, the identity that you have will override everything else. It'll influence your actions, your behaviors, your thoughts, your feelings. At the core-most level, it's our identity that influences everything that we hold to be true. If you think about it as the big domino that we're trying to tip and the small domino that will cause every other domino to tip, it's in simply shifting our sense of self, shifting our self-view, shifting our identity. Just like in that story that I described to you about having a picture in your mind of what your current self and what your ideal self looks like, your 1.0 and your 2.0. What I want you to do is create a picture of what your 2.0 self would look like. And then we can get to this exercise. So the first step in making this shift is getting clarity on what your ideal self would look like and getting awareness on what your current self looks like. So if we create a column, you may say that, your current self, what are the limitations that your current self has? I struggle taking sales calls, I struggle presenting offers. And right now we just want to get honest with what our shortcomings are. And in our 2.0 self, we're going to correct these shortcomings. Take a minute right now and just jot down 3 to 5 relevant shortcomings that you have that you feel are preventing you from achieving the goal that you have. So if it's a monetary goal, what identity limitation do you feel is stopping you from getting to that next level in your business? If it's a relationship goal, what identity limitation do you feel is preventing you from taking it to the next level? Then what I want you to do is for each and every single one of these corresponding identity limitations, I want you to put down a benefit that your 2.0 self has. So if your current identity limitation is a lack of self-confidence, your 2.0 self is immensely confident, and you can create a picture of what this 2.0 self looks like. So take a minute to just do that, and then we're going to get right into the exercise. Okay, so now it's time for the alternating exercise. Now, I don't share a lot of guided meditations on my channel because, frankly, I haven't found many that are good. But recently I've been trying this out and it's been extremely, extremely effective for me. And that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I think it'll be extremely valuable for you in attaining this identity shift. A lot of people find it very, very difficult to attain an identity shift, especially because they don't want to spend $20,000 on a cosmetic surgery, or I think that's a gimmicky way to do it, because if you learn how to consciously do it, you'll have the skill set to do it every single time. Because the reality is that you won't be the same person throughout your whole life. We're continually evolving and growing. We only struggle when we stay stagnant in a current identity or a current situation. Okay, so every belief that you hold to be true right now will eventually become a limiting belief when you want to grow and take it to the next level. So the most important thing that we need to know how to do is to be awareness. Stay as formless awareness, the I am, beyond the I am this or I am that. When we live in this material world, this world of illusion or Maya, as the yogis would call it, we're taking on a certain form that allows us to function in a certain way. This is called the ego, okay? But you have to know how to use the ego and not let the ego use you. And this is where learning how to become flexible and formless and resting as awareness comes in, okay? So this exercise that I'm going to share with you is simply 4 steps. But if you want, you can make it as many more steps as you need. So I'm going to share with you what the steps are. By the way, I'm going to be doing this with you. I have my sheet of paper and I've defined the 1.0 and the 2.0. So if you weren't clear on that, what you need to do is create a goal, like one goal that you have that you want to achieve. For me, it's a business goal. It's a revenue goal. Like I want to make a certain amount of money per year in my business. Yours could be anything. And then create 2 columns. 1.0, what limiting characteristics do you have? For me, a couple of them are impatience, maybe lack of leadership, lack of good leadership, maybe lack of innovation. So what do you feel are characteristics that your current self has that's blocking you from taking it to the next level? And all you need to do there for the 2.0 is be able to see this ideal self that you have be the opposite of those characteristics. Just basically flip the limitations into a positive. Now that you have somewhat of a clear picture of what your 1.0 self looks like and what your 2.0 self looks like, now it's time to make the shift. So the 4 steps to doing this are: number 1, we're going to tap first into awareness, become formless and empty. And we just do this simply through observing all of the thoughts and feelings that we have. And then we're going to step into our 1.0 self. Feel the limitations, feel how it's blocking us. Then we're going to go back to awareness. And then for the last step, we're going to step into our 2.0 selves, what the limitations flipped looks like and how it allows us to achieve the thriving business, the thriving relationship, the thriving health, whatever it is that you want, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I want you to close your eyes with me and let's take a few deep breaths. Just quietly watch your breath. Watch any thought, any feeling in the body that arises without any resistance. Allow it all to exist. You're simply watching and observing. Everything is allowed to exist. You are now the watcher of all thought and all feeling. You're beyond thought, feeling, mind, body. And in this state, you can confidently say, I am. There exists. There is existence. In 3 seconds, I'm going to snap my fingers and you will shift into your 1.0 self, your current self. In 3, 2, 1. You're now your 1.0 self. Feel the pain of limitation and how it's keeping you stuck every single day. The pain of failing because of these limitations. Feel like no matter how hard you try, you just keep staying stuck. You keep hitting an invisible wall because of being in this 1.0 self. And in 3 seconds, we're going to step back from this 1.0 self and watch this 1.0 self as awareness. 3, 2, 1. You're now no longer the 1.0 self. You can see that you have an identity. You are not this identity. Watch this person from a distance and how they fail and how they struggle. This is no longer you. Now in 3 seconds, we're going to shift into our 2.0 selves, the one that's successful. 3, 2, 1. You're now your 2.0 self. Everything that you want has been achieved. Feel how good it feels to finally accomplish everything that you've wanted for such a long time. Feel what it feels like to embody those characteristics that were once a limitation. Feel what it feels like to have conquered all of your demons and to have finally made it. You've made it. Give thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Feel how it feels to effortlessly achieve everything that you've dreamt of. And it's now become your new normal. Look at a day in the life of this 2.0 self. How does it feel waking up in the morning as your 2.0 self? How does it feel hanging out with family as your 2.0 self? What does the world look like as your 2.0 self? You are now the 2.0 self. Rest in it. And in 3 seconds, we're going to open our eyes as our 2.0 selves. 3, 2, 1. Slowly open your eyes. You are now your 2.0 self. So you don't need to worry or think about being this 2.0 self or doing anything different. For now, whatever comes up, whatever you feel is necessary for you to do it and realize that this is what the 2.0 self must do. It's coming from this ideal self. whatever challenge arises in your world, understand that those are the challenges of the 1.0 self that's passing. It takes some time for reality to catch up, for reality to reflect everything that you've intended right now. Reality is simply catching up to you becoming your 2.0 self, and within time, it will reflect. I personally recommend doing this when you feel out of touch with the 2.0 self. So this could be as little as a week or every month. But I wouldn't do this every day to just make sure. Don't come from a place of manipulation, mechanical, oh, I need to make sure I'm my 2.0 self. You don't need to be too careful. Live carefree and just assume that you already are. Because once you capture that feeling of what it feels like to be your 2.0 self in all of those activities that you envisioned, that's exactly what will happen. You assume it and you ground it into reality. So, what I want you to do right now is click right here. I made a 46-minute video on how to create your identity blueprint. I think this is one of the most important videos that I've made and one of the most detailed videos out there on YouTube. It's going to detail to you how to really get clarity on the identity and will complement this video very, very well. So just click here to go and check it out. And I'll see you in this next video. Thanks.